This is Caitlin Campbell, and I doubt we'll ever see another comment section nearly as brutal as hers. She gets called Heavy Potter, Lesbian Peter Griffin, and White Kim Jong-un, although if you're familiar with Caitlin Campbell's content, you might argue that she really doesn't deserve it.
Hi, I'm teethdaggers. He's dead, and he doesn't do shit to us. Gaming, IRL streaming. They made a.
Probably gonna want to talk to you, so just heads up. No.
They made a noise. Documentaries and video reactions.
Tommy G conspired with Punchbait Dev to steal money from fans.
Do you think the righteous Tommy G could collab with self-proclaimed scammer and stage a documentary in order to scam his own fans?
Click subscribe with notifications on for new content daily. Join the cult. How did he do that? For this video, I wanted to, it was my dream to date a stripper that was a pole dancer and not a twerker, but she happened to.
Her videos focus on the uncontroversial topic of coffee, initially posting tutorials on how to make certain types or use specific pieces of gear.
My goal on TikTok is to help you brew the best coffee you possibly can at home.
Since she was also promoting her own product called Street Brew, Caitlin added videos talking about how she ran her business.
Welcome to the day in the life of a 29-year-old small business owner who makes coffee for a living.
And while this was already hard enough to manage,
Running a small business, running any kind of business is tough. There are going to be bad days, there are going to be bad seasons, there are going to be days you want to throw in the towel.
there was another thing making it even harder.
From the moment I started posting on TikTok, I was met with hate and trolls and negative comments. Like,
Really?
the moment I started posting.
You're like, here's some coffee.
Yeah. And
they're
just
like, I
like,
hate you.
destroy.
On an early video encouraging people to open their own business, Caitlin received comments such as, maybe start a gym, CEO of food, and all you do is roast coffee beans, calm down. This understandably began to hurt her feelings.
Definitely like really bothered me because like
What the hell? When she's as big as she is, not size, no pun intended there, but when she's as big as she is on the internet, she should know the most famous saying. Oh, you're on my dick? Homie, get off my shit. Homie, you trying to hate? Homie, get on your own shit. It's like she should know that they're hating because they wish they like see it and then they're like, damn, I could be doing that. And they like, it kind of makes them feel bad about themselves. It's hard to explain the psychology of the hater. And then some of the haters aren't actually hating, but they're trolls. And that's a whole different thing right there. That being said, I'm surprised she let it get to her feelings. And that being said, I think she's lying because she's a content creator and she knows what to say, bro.
in real life, people aren't jerks like that mostly.
This is a very important point to make.
So much that Caitlin felt the need to reply to the negative comments. Building a community. Yeah, you started it all. Never claimed I started it all. How can you be good at coffee? The same way you can be good at anything else. Practice and make better coffee. You're just making coffee. Everyone is good at making coffee. I beg to differ, with the continual hate bringing Caitlin to a crossroads.
You have two choices. Keep posting content and ignore the trolls, ignore the haters, and go out there and win, or stop posting content and do something else.
Rather than defending herself,
Those aren't your only two why are they, dude, the two choices thing is a whole trap. That's like the way people manipulate you to get you to think you only have two choices. There's most of the time there's always two choices. There's usually three choices. So she said ignore the haters. Okay. She said ignore the haters and get your money up. Okay. And then she said like, or quit. Why isn't the third choice make friends like with the haters? Like bring them as part of your community. Kill them with kindness. She's like, you have to either fight the haters and win. Nah, dog. And so what I just said would be like, not a middle ground. It would still be fighting the haters and win, technically, right? But that would be like one nudge forward. And then you could do a nudge backwards with the completely quitting. You could be like, a nudge forward from that. You don't have to. You don't have to completely quit. You could switch your style up. So there's 4 different techniques I thought of on the top of my head. Like, what if you just like making content creation and coffee, and you can't stand, you genuinely actually, I don't believe that she can't stand it, but you genuinely actually can't stand the fact that people don't like your coffee post. Well, then stop posting about coffee if you still like making content. You don't have to fucking completely quit. There's happy mediums, dog.
Kaylin began embracing the elements that made her page unique.
How I deal with the hate. I don't live and die by the comments. I'm not searching for validation from people who don't know me.
And when asked if she could focus on the coffee and not inspirational speeches, Kaylin politely told the viewer that she'd keep doing whatever she wanted, which when done this eloquently certainly adds.
Whoa, that's kind of fucked up, dude, because she could have looked at this in a completely different way. She could have looked at it as constructive criticism. That's kind of like a compliment. They're like, we like the coffee content. They just don't know how to talk because they're online all the time. But I don't know if they meant harm by it. Look, this is over dramatization. They put crazy music behind this. And then he's like, yeah, but this crazy comment. It's like, it's just like a nerd. I like you. Can you please stop doing the inspirational speeches? And inspirational speeches aren't that fun to fucking watch unless you actually need self-help. If you're there just for the coffee, then what the fuck, dog? This is super over-dramatized.
To a person's charm. It's so funny to see people getting so triggered over somebody sharing stuff about their passion. We get it, you don't like coffee. It honestly blows my mind. People get so triggered over coffee. Why are people getting so mad? It's literally just coffee. Say it louder for the people in the back. It's so funny to see people get mad you like coffee. Everyone has hobbies, so what's wrong with coffee being one? It's crazy how triggered people get, although this failed to stop the rapidly increasing negative comments.
It's not crazy how people get, because people don't have those hobbies themselves, and it stems from jealousy, and that's why they rage over coffee, right? They don't like that this person's chasing their goals and dreams. What they do is when they get home from work, they're fucking tired as shit, and there's nothing wrong with that because they're being successful already. So they should see that and see that they're already successful, and the person who's doing content creating is still trying to be successful because, they're still on their path. So we're a little kid compared to them, so if they looked at it like that, I'm sure they wouldn't have a problem with it. But it stems from jealousy.
On a video simply talking about her daily coffee intake, viewers berated her by stating, how about you watch your calorie intake too? You eat 2 chocolate cakes a day though too, yeah? You don't look like you worry about intakes. I guess she didn't really help herself by making lattes out of Fruit Loops, although the shirt she was wearing in the video revealed another reason she perhaps didn't deserve the hate. Kaylin explained that she began TikTok because she missed out on her dream job.
So I got rejected from what I thought was like my dream job at the time. I used to be a pastor. It was a very big pastoring job.
Okay. I think I know how, what she's doing. She's using the coffee as like a persona to get all this other stuff out. She's really, 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 really smart. She's just a entertainer. And you guys have to start seeing this. Everything, even your favorite YouTubers, as much as you hate me for saying it, are just there for entertainment value. Nothing is real. Even the people who are like that Omniville guy who's like trying to be as real as possible, he's not real. Everybody has a little bit of agenda. I'm not real. Even I have a little bit of agenda. My agenda is trying to call that shit out. So I don't know where you would really put me. But this lady knows what she's doing. That's what I'm getting at. She has these interviews, and this is all done on purpose. And she acted in a way, and she played her cards out in a way to be able to be in this type of position on purpose, dog. She probably knew that people would be making fun of her and shit. And she probably plays into it, which is why she responds to the comments and all that.
Which was a role she'd been studying for over 4 years.
So I wanted to go into ministry. That's what I went to school for. I worked in ministry for 4 years.
And while being religious doesn't automatically make her better or moral, you could say that somebody who dreams of being a church pastor might be slightly more ethical than the standard TikTok troll. Because Caitlyn then revealed that 20% of her company's revenue goes to the homeless population in her city, which if anything led to a positive article titled, "Father-daughter duo behind Street Brew Coffee wants to serve up real change for Toronto's homeless." Caitlyn also managed to land a spot on breakfast television until her positive path was reversed by one single TikTok that created a whole new wave of hate.
Making coffee is harder than your 9 to 5.
Hear me out. First you have to weigh out your coffee to the exact gram, and then you have to get it ground up. It is exhausting turning this crank over and over.
She did this on purpose. She's copying the fucking controversy that's going on right now with Hassan. She saw that it worked. She copied it. Lame, boring. I'm starting to get lame and bored of this.
Again. Then after weighing out your water and getting it heated up, you have to pour it out in circular motions over and over and over again until you reach the goal weight. The whole process can take 4 to 6 plus minutes, depending on what brew method you're using, just pouring water over and over. Then finally, after all that hard work, you can enjoy the cup, but man, I'm exhausted. I need a nap.
After her TikTok gained over 2 million views, Caitlyn was duetted by people working in manual labor.
Making coffee is harder than your 9 to 5.
Which were captioned with titles such as, "So thankful I'm not making coffee anytime soon. Honestly don't know how I'd manage." When a similar duet gained over 13,000 upvotes.
Dude, she did it on purpose. And the people who can't see through that and actually don't like this are pushing her, and her plan worked. Jesus Christ, these people.
Most people managed to realize that Caitlyn's video was satire. However, it seemed as though the backlash was exactly what she wanted.
Yeah, I'm just trying to engagement bait. That's my goal.
Given a single negative
Boom! I fucking called it out. Hell yeah. And so that's what's gonna cause people to hate her. That's the rest of the video.
The Man Who Knew Too Much was released onto YouTube in September of 2021 by the channel Independent POV. The documentary discusses the crucial 3-decade gap in Northern Ireland's fight for independence and unity. One half wanted to separate from the UK and join the Republic of Ireland, while the other half wanted to remain part of the UK. Republicans and loyalists fought brutally, causing death and destruction in their own streets for their beliefs. Not wanting to lose the land, the UK would step in with their own assistance. Underground psychological operations. The documentary would focus around one particular individual, Colin Wallace.
Hell yeah, guys. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Teeth Daggers Nightcap Late Night Video Reaction / Analyzation Double Broadcast. What's that called? Like, long episode or whatever. It's the Nightcap, guys. So, let's get right into
who would be labeled as the forefront to what would become fake news today. Starting in the Ministry of Defense, he eventually found himself moving up ranks until he was working with clandestine operations, designed to create stories against the IRA, portraying them as communists and Satanists, using the fear of the Cold War and manipulating the newly growing evangelical movement against the IRA.
Okay, so he basically just did like what people would call it fake news. Other people would call it propaganda. He basically just did war propaganda. That goes on a lot. scary music makes it sound darker, and it is pretty dark, and it is pretty manipulative, but it does go on a lot, and a lot of people know about it. And that being said, guys, I hope you have your water, your snacks, your green, and your caffeine, because we're hitting our bowl for this nightcap. Thank you for joining this nightcap. Hell yeah, guys. Let's get it.
All of his stories were fabricated with the slightest hair of truth residing within them, using that single line of truth as the whole story's credibility. Suddenly, one day, Colin Wallace decides to undermine the entire operation and becomes a whistleblower, resulting in him being investigated. Once investigated, it is quickly discovered that Wallace would be convicted as a murderer, with headlines claiming that he murdered his lover's husband.
Whoa! So if this is true, that means that weird conspiracy shit does go on, where like the CIA convicts people of like weird crimes so they can never be seen as real in public. I don't know if this is true though. What the fuck? I guess we're gonna have to keep watching this. Darkest real life documentaries. The documentary was on this guy. Maybe they figured out it was faking by the CIA, but then
With this conviction, Wallace would immediately be sentenced to serve for manslaughter, where he spent 6 long years in prison. However, due to blowing the cover of the operation...
Wait a minute. This guy fooled me. How do I even know that he didn't kill his wife? I don't know if he mentioned he didn't do it.
Wallace found himself in the spotlight to be investigated by the others, including the public. And these further investigations would then discover that this murder story, the reason he's in prison, was completely false. With this, the charges against Wallace were dropped, freeing him from prison. But why did he all of a sudden become a whistleblower in the first place? Colin Wallace states that there were 2 big events in his career that he deemed as inexcusable. One event was when those who worked with Wallace demanded that he make a false story and smear campaign against their own prime minister. Wallace wholeheartedly was a patriotic individual and would do anything for his country and his rights. So to suddenly turn around and smear his own democracy felt wrong. But the second event may hold much more weight. During his career, the authorities would discover an underground pedophile ring happening in the Concora boys' home. This home being operated by a loyalist group.
Wait, so this guy's just a fucking good guy? A documentary on a good guy. Darkest documentary. Oh, because everything he called out was super dark. That's a stretch, but we'll count it.
The authorities would then instead silence the story from being released, fearing the potential risk of losing their propaganda war. Children were abused and assaulted in an operation fueled by a political party, and the authorities deemed their stories as too politically incorrect, and thus silenced them. These 2 events would cause Colin Wallace to abandon his position and to go tell the world the truth. All of the lies he told, all of the lies he was paid to write, all of the campaigns fabricated, everything. But when a man spends his life lying to the public and then turns against the government, there truly is no one by his side. Who can trust him after all of the harm he's done? What remains chilling, however, is that Wallace states that many of his tactics that he implemented back then are still being heavily used to this day. Originally documented in 2003, Cutting Edge is a multiple episode series which follows the filmmaker Lee View as he travels back to his home in Romania. The reason for his return is disturbing, but simple.
I've returned to Romania because I've heard that child prostitution and sex trafficking have become a big problem.
Ew! Fucking more of this shit. Fuck, I gotta remember. Dark isn't supposed to be disturbing.
episodes. There is a British tourist mentioned often who is infamously known for kidnapping and assaulting children. His name is Tom Peters, and Tom hosts a paywalled website where he's displayed images that he's taken, mentioning that those who are interested can, quote-unquote, meet the models, and is the one prostituting his son. The friend holds his disguise very well, as they discuss Tom's boy, quote, remains at large. Directed by Penny Woolcock, the film The Wet House focuses around a building that shelters the homeless and caters to their daily alcohol dependency. For 70 minutes, you are left to witness abandoned family members, addicts, and the disabled stumble around, drunkenly yelling incoherent sentences. They break into songs, they dance, they scream, they fight, they sob, and they're drunk, from sunrise to sunset. Penny lets the film mostly tell the story itself. There is no plot. There is no redemption. These are simply victims of their own addiction, given one final opportunity of warmth and shelter. Penny theorizes that the point behind The Wet House is to give these homeless people their own deathbeds, realizing that they're going to drink themselves to death despite their location. So, in the end, at least they will pass in a bed, surrounded by others, rather than in the streets, alone.
I don't like this type of dark. This is disturbing. This guy got it confused. Because all the YouTubers who write disturbing do all this type of shit. Dark was like the other videos we've seen that say dark are like creepy, are like mysterious, interesting. Like Jack Doherty's Dark Past. That one wasn't creepy, but that one was interesting. But we tried there, guys. And that being said, if you liked that video and you want to watch the rest of it, Darkest Real Life Documentaries, Volume 3 by Maverick. Some shorts to lighten up the mood. That's good breakdancing right there. Thank you for watching that episode of teethdaggers React / Nightcap / Analyze video. I'll see you guys next time on teethdaggers Watches Videos. Subscribe below!
Find me at twitch.com/teethdaggers.